Whoa, 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 yeah, we are in the place to be. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Good morning. You got a lot of stuff going on over there. Good morning, everybody. It is Positive Tuesday today, February 23rd, 2021. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. Their goal is to help remove barriers so people can access resources, education, and services to increase financial security. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out at their website at IndianHeadCAA.org. Quick programming note. Let's see where... There'll be two more shows this week. Tomorrow I will be chatting with our second episode of Politically Speaking with Adam Jarko and Patty Schachner. We're supposed to do last Thursday, but there's a scheduling conflict, so that'll be tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I will be chatting with Rebecca Clayfish, the former lieutenant governor, and who seems to be gearing up for a run for governor. Next week, of course, Fitzy and I will be back on Tuesday, and then that Thursday I'll be chatting with Thomas Nelson, who is I think he's a Democrat. I should probably double check that. Thomas Nelson, who's running against Ron Johnson for Senate, Wisconsin Senate, I believe. And I think he has some ties to Spooner, so that'll be good. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. You got a big week. Got a lot of prep work to do, huh?
Yeah, I know. I don't prep for any of this stuff.
Yeah. No one can tell.
No, what? No, and actually kind of going forward, that is our plan, is technically starting this week, but we have a show on Wednesday. We will have a show every Tuesday and Thursday. So you and I do the Positive Tuesdays, 3 out of 4 Tuesdays a month. The one Tuesday we have off, that's Mom is now doing her Diane's Kitchen show is back. And then on Thursdays, Politically Speaking is once a month. Breakfast with Tiffany, Congressman Tiffany, once a month. And then we have 2 Thursday shows where I can just have whomever for whatever. So that's kind of our schedule going forward.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like, I think people like what we do, and we just put out some information out there and talk to different people, and we're always looking for guests on this show, and we got a lot to talk about today, so we didn't have a guest, but yeah,
and actually
watching.
So I did ask Governor Evers if he wanted to come on, send out an email down for a Positive Tuesday. We have not heard back. It's been like 3 weeks, or like a month. And I did ask Rebecca Clayfish, well, not her people, if you wanted to do just a standalone show just with me or come on Positive Tuesday, but I don't know. I guess she has nothing positive to say, so she didn't want to come on the show.
Yeah, I'm sure it just didn't fit in, but I should get some people so that I don't have to just set up the schedule with me.
I need
people.
Get people. That would be nice.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful day outside. It was a great day yesterday. What was it, 46 degrees difference between last Monday and this Monday, and the sun's out. Man, it's going to be a good week. We're excited.
I hope so. So it has been 2 weeks. A lot's been going on. We'll get to a whole bunch of that stuff. But first, what's new with you?
Not much. Like I said, we've been busy with a lot of different things and a lot of different cases here, and we'll talk about a lot of that. Other than that, just hockey season ended.
Hockey. How did that turn out? Last I heard, you were going to, I think, Hayward for something.
Yeah, we beat Hayward, and we ended up playing Superior and losing in overtime to that one, so that was a little heartbreaker. And but we watched some girls basketball this weekend and boys basketball in Rice Lake, and Prairie Farm girls, first time in the school history that they made sectional finals, and so that's pretty impressive. First time ever is what I was told. So I didn't go down, but some of our deputies went down. They had a little parade for them, and so we helped them out with their game. So I think that's pretty cool to be a part of that team and be first team and girls team in school history to go. And but yeah, it was fun, heartbreak for kids, and excitement for other kids, and they win and lose, and so. But that's what sports is all about. It builds character, and they have a lot of fun doing that. So hats off to all those coaches. I mean, I think being a coach, and we talked refereeing when we had the pharmacist from
Tim Bassett.
Tim. Yeah, we had Tim on and talked referees, and so thank you to our coaches and the referees out there. A lot of people volunteer their time as coaching, and it's just Bob Lehman's.
Every time I hear Bill's character, it reminds me of my father when I was a kid, and it sounds like that means I have to do work for something for free. Right. Bill's character.
For free, yeah.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of coaches out there that have done a lot of good for a lot of kids, and whether it's at the youth level or the high school level, or and so hats off to all those coaches and the kids that work hard. I mean, being an athlete in today's high school world is very demanding. It's almost a year-round commitment, and I know there's arguments too, pros and cons to that, but as long as the kids are having fun, hockey season's over. I know the hockey team got up and lifted weights this morning, so I think they're still hanging out. It builds friendships and a lot of different things, and so keep at it, kids, and again, thanks to all the coaches, and as we told Tim, a couple weeks ago, sorry that we yell at all the refs. But
right.
But that's a good conversation. But how about you? What else you been doing?
Nothing. I still don't have a vehicle, so nothing.
Well,
it's still getting work.
You can walk.
What?
It's warmer now. You can walk.
Yeah, it is actually a little nicer. Yeah. And by the way, so man, we're already way behind here, but that's all right. GoPro, right? So we had talked about a month ago about you had brought up a possibility of doing a Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, but live in your squad, right? Your vehicle. And so I ordered a GoPro Hero 9 Black, I think it was called, and then I tested it out a little bit, and then the audio, and I mean I've never had one before, so I didn't know. Anyway, so when I finished with it, then I ordered some of the pieces that we're going to need. They came yesterday, some external mic things, little clip-ons, and then a suction cup that goes on it so we can put on your dash. And it's warranted up to 150 miles an hour, so we can have some fun.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad.
Right.
Our squads don't go that fast. So the warranty will be covered. So.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And now I just have to test it, but I need my vehicle back before I can actually test it. So hopefully
don't go 150 in your vehicle. That's all right.
Well, I'm not going to test that part.
Yeah.
Also, I have a quick question here. YouTube only show. I was thinking about maybe doing a YouTube exclusive Positive Tuesday. We have a YouTube channel, but we always load things in afterwards. I don't know. I think we should try one of those. Only just because, why not? What are your thoughts?
Right. Well, I don't know about that, but.
So that's a no. Got it.
Right. Well,
no.
People like Facebook, and I mean, the problem, we have had some conversations over the past couple of weeks about Facebook and the comments that get put on Facebook, and the second guessing of law enforcement, and the second guessing of the media, and the second guessing of whatever. But definitely we're going to play cops in the background, and especially if we arrest somebody and put them in the back seat, So
yes.
We're going to have fun. Yeah, there you go. But all the schools have used YouTube. It's become more universal now with, that's how we watched all the athletic events for high schools. And, parents and grandparents. I mean, my parents are in Arizona, and they got to watch, all of my kids' games and, my nephew's games. And so, I mean, that's been pretty cool. So, as long as we give people the access to it. But, for a show, I don't think you can comment on YouTube.
You can. And actually, one of the reasons we're considering doing that is kind of a test thing, is we are looking to have a call with my coder this afternoon about possibly having these YouTube videos are going to be just on DrydenWire on our website. Because more and more people are leaving Facebook, or they just don't want to be on, whatever the reason is. So we're kind of missing out on some of that part of it, right? They're just not, they've left for whatever reason. Or they've just never had a Facebook. I think we can kind of see with our Google Analytics about 3 out of 4 people who go to a website have Facebook, but that's 25% of the people that we're missing, and we got a lot of followers or people that go to our website. So we're just kind of looking into it. So I thought we'd just kind of test one. Maybe we'll do like a one-off show,
Right.
like on a Sunday or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's get to some recent articles and or press releases that I have done or you have issued, and I just put them in order. I think this is the newest first, but was I don't know how to pronounce her name. Melanie Kuula, acquitted of homicide charges, was our headline. Your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a jury trial, and that's the justice system at work. And, we stand behind the justice system, whether we like the outcome or not. I felt we put on a good case. I thought our district attorney's office did an unbelievable job of putting that case in there. But 12 jurors make up that decision. And, we didn't poll the jury. I haven't been part of a jury trial for a long time, and I follow a lot of this jury trial because we had a big stake in it, and we had a lot of people involved, and so we followed along. And it was it was the first jury trial ever to be put on. Wasn't YouTube, but it was the court system, so you could actually watch the trial live every day, all day. And so on wisconsincourts.gov, you can actually watch a lot of the court proceedings because of COVID. That's another good thing that came out of COVID is people don't have to come to court and watch court. So, a lot of the media outlets that cover the story could sit in their office and watch court instead of being in the courtroom, and they could obviously do other things. And when they went to lunch, they didn't have to, they weren't in Barron when their office is in Rice Lake or whatever like that. So that worked out good. So, but you stand behind the system, whether they find him guilty or not guilty. And obviously we felt she was guilty, but the jury did not, and we stand behind that decision by the jury. So our team did put on a good case. Her team put on a good case, and the jury, obviously felt that I assume that she was a victim at times and has been a victim of a crime or of domestic abuse, and I think took that into consideration and found her not guilty. So, again, you stand behind that because that's how the system is supposed to work.
So from kind of a behind-the-scenes part of this, obviously you're going to look into, or law enforcement in general is going to investigate and arrest someone because they believe something has happened, a crime has been committed.
Correct.
Then when it goes through, obviously at that point you do all your work, and for the most part, you're kind of finished, right? Goes over the DA's office, and then they decide what they want to charge, if it's a prosecutable case, etc. And again, I'm sure there's still some roles that you have to play, or some communication with the DA's office. But when something like this happens, is there kind of just this moment, like in law enforcement, that people that were part of it, they were just like, what? Or is it, no, actually, that's okay, we did our part, and that's it?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to think about it from an administrator standpoint. We have to take all those into play, and we've replayed it in our mind. And could we have done something different? No. Did we collect all the evidence that was needed? Yes. Did we put on a good case? Yes. So you walk yourself through that. We didn't lose the case on a technicality. We didn't lose the case on we failed to interview so-and-so, or we didn't do that. So, you feel good that way from an investigative standpoint that no investigative steps were missed. But there's some frustration. No question about it. There's some,
I would think so.
You lose the overtime game or you lose the jury trial. I mean, obviously they're two different, I'm not comparing the two because don't quote me on it. We'll get in trouble.
Oh, we're going to. You will be.
Dolphins again. I will be seeing that. Here they come. Look at that. He compared the jury trial to a sports game. That's not what but I can just see the headline now. I just wrote it myself. But the loss of that, you're frustrated, you lose, you work so hard at doing something, but no, that's the name of the game. And in law enforcement, we have to think about that and make sure, luckily we have the support of people. So it's not because, people hate cops or they don't think the cops are doing a good enough job in this area in big cities. And you're going to see that in March, we're going to, law enforcement is going to be put on trial in March with the Chavez trial in Minneapolis. I mean, it's not just him on trial. It will be law enforcement and how we handle that. And we had a great discussion about that as part of our citizen action team last night. about, how should we react to some of that, or how should I as sheriff react to some of that. And I got some pretty good tips from some of my team on that citizen action team. We had a great meeting last night, talked a lot about use of force, started to talk a little bit about racism and how law enforcement needs to react to that. Even though we don't have a lot of problems, I'm sure there's been, somebody that feels they've been, their rights have maybe been violated in Barron County. And luckily there was an example given by us, a member of our team, that had nothing to do with the sheriff's department. So that made me proud. But it doesn't matter if it was another law enforcement officer in this county doing something that reflects on all of the law enforcement officers in this county. So, I think we'll see a lot of discussion in March about law enforcement and the system, the jury system, the justice system. And so that'll be some interesting discussion in the month of March with that going on.
Yeah. I noticed on your Facebook page there was a whole bunch of comments on this, and actually that is something, when we're finished with this, I want to kind of get into that a little bit, so I don't want to spend too much time on that right now. But you had a lot of engagement on that, and as well as this next one that was a recent article or press release that either we've done or you have sent, was a truck versus horse and buggy crash. You had sent that out. I think it was on a Friday last week, Thursday, somewhere in there, end of the week last week. And then I kind of was using this weekend for the first time in about a month and a half. I'm like, I just got to punch out for a while. And then someone had told me, had texted and said that on Sunday you would put up something about looking for someone, and then they were in custody, and it was, I think, tied to this. What was the situation there?
We had a domestic Friday night into Saturday morning, what I would consider a very violent domestic abuse, where a female was put in the hospital. We don't have many domestic abuse incidents where someone goes to the hospital.
Okay, so this wasn't tied to the horse and buggy thing, right?
No.
Okay, because that's what someone texted me, and I'm like, what? I don't think so. Yeah. And again, I took the weekend off, so I didn't know what was going on. So those are two separate things.
Two separate things. The horse and buggy was last week on Wednesday night. No, that was
I can't remember.
Weekend. I can't remember. That was on the weekend too, I think.
Yeah.
And we had a domestic situation over the weekend that we were looking for someone because he fled the scene before we arrived, and then we found him. He was in custody, and he's been charged now through the district attorney's office. So that case has been resolved. But the horse and buggy crash, we knew, because it was two Amish kids. They were struck in the back end by a truck, and it sent one critically to the hospital, and one is okay and actually back home. It was a 17 and 16-year-old kid. And I just don't know what to do about that. And they had rear lights lit on their buggy. They had the flashers. So people just need to pay attention to driving. And I think that's, we're just seeing a comment on there that people need to pay attention. And that one's being investigated still, so I can't comment a lot about it.
Okay.
But, it's a tragic event. That's the second one on that road in the last 3 months. That's been serious in nature. There's been other minor ones. So, people, we just need to pay attention more when we drive. It's just, obviously, when a vehicle hits some kind of buggy or even a bicyclist or something, there's some serious injury to that, and it draws attention to that. So, yeah. And the comments on her, that they shouldn't be on the road, and but they have the right to be on the road, just like a bicyclist does. And they were, at times we've been working with them to make sure that they have lighting and all the proper techniques, and they know to look behind them before they make turns. And so we're having conversations like that with different types of groups of people across the county to make sure our roads are safe. I mean, there's a question here about what are we going to do about cracking down on drunk drivers. That's a priority of ours, is to arrest people for drunk driving. Just talking with the Rice Lake Police Chief and their captains, they've had I think they had a record year for arrests. And so I think we are doing a good job of cracking down on them. Again, you look at that, we're trying to, and sometimes I think, maybe we're trying to have too many programs as far as rehabilitation. And sometimes, we need to wake people up with jail time, and we can't have multiple offense drunk drivers. I know there's some laws that are being tossed around out there with our legislature about, reducing OWIs to third offense, maybe being a felony, or, other ways. So there's a lot of discussion out there. So people want to have an impact. That's where you have an impact, is talk to your legislatures. Now is the time that new bills and laws are being written. So if you think drunk drivers should have harsher penalties or lesser penalties, now's your chance to reach out to, the Dave Armstrongs and the and your local legislatures and talk about those are the things that you want, people want. Call
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. And real quick, I want to interject there. Like, actually do that. Because in my
Right.
line of work, I have discovered that actually it's amazing how receptive they are to it. It's just crazy. There's a bill right now. I think it's SB 55, and I know newspapers. This was brought up a while ago. I think Adam Jarko was a part of this when he was in the assembly a long time ago, where it's about meeting minutes and do they have to publish it in the newspaper, if there's a place for online. It's this whole thing. So I ended up talking to, I think it was Rob Staffschold this last weekend just about this, and I just gave my insight, and it was a great conversation, and he took that, and I don't know what he's doing with it, but it's nuts. Like, it's surprising how many people don't reach out to your local legislators.
Right.
Because they will
So
listen.
What do you think about that bill that it says, counties or cities don't have to produce their minutes or only to one source or whatever?
Well, it's if it's on, here's my opinion, if it's on their website, then fine. I don't, and if a newspaper wants to run it, which I believe most papers will say that it's not a lot of revenue for them, and sometimes they either break even or they lose because it's print, it's ink, it's whatever, and not a lot of people probably really read them anyway. But that's beside the point. That's really kind of the minority now. Most people, I would say, more people have access to internet via a smartphone or a computer to just go and look at it online, that don't have a newspaper subscription, opposed to people who have a newspaper subscription and don't have online access to it. So, I mean, we're talking about the minority here, and it's costing these counties a lot of money to pay to put this stuff in. Right. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like we're not going to publish them. We get them all the time, but I don't even read them. We're
right.
automatic. They get sent to us. I skim through some of them every once in a while, but I mean, whatever. You really should just go to these things. If you're that interested, just go. Or at the very least, these people should start just having them all via Facebook or live streaming on their website. That would solve a lot of problems too. But yeah, I'm perfectly fine with the county saving money and not putting it in a newspaper. But again, that's not for DrydenWire's advantage, because again, I'm not going to run this stuff. They could pay me and I still won't run it, because I'm not, what counties and cities that we cover? Right. Oh, my goodness.
We have a lot of newspapers here in Barron County, so it costs the county money to say, here's the minutes from this meeting, and here's this, and so if there was one central spot on the internet, and I know newspapers won't like that, but I think at least it's out there. So if somebody really wants to know, like, there was a pretty neat suggestion as part of our citizen action team last night, was to put some of our policies online and talk about them. Maybe there's nothing going on this week, so we're going to post a policy on, our body cam policy or our whatever policy.
Great idea.
Have some discussion. I thought it was a great idea too. I'm like, as much as I use the internet, but that's why that citizen action team was created, to give me some, like, what are you guys thinking about that I'm not thinking about? Because I think about it every day and I'm just so used to it. And so those are neat things, but I'm not going to post it in every newspaper. So I know the newspapers, have some heartache over that bill, and I don't know where it'll go, but it costs counties and cities a lot of money, and these townships a lot of money, because the townships have to produce it, and things like that. So,
well, at the very least, they should do like a prorated amount instead of like a universal amount, because with the newspaper subscriptions going down, they're still charging the same amount. And I don't know, that's weird. You're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. The next one that we had on here was the very unfortunate situation. I mean, I guess a lot of these are anyway, but Ben Jacobson found deceased. I don't even know. I don't even have a specific question for that. What do you want to talk about there?
Yeah, well, I just want our hearts go out to the family, and obviously the funeral was yesterday, and I met with the family again yesterday, and attended all of those events that they had yesterday, and helped them out, and I just learned a lot from the family. They're very happy with, we did everything. We worked together with them for just over a week, and he was found on the shoreline, and I know people have questions on how he was missed, and there's answers to all those questions. It doesn't need to get into that. The family was out there, the friends were out there, airplanes, snowmobiles, four-wheelers. We checked a lot of different locations, and ultimately he was found deceased. But the family member told me this story yesterday, and I just think it's something that we need to talk about. And she said to me, this was great that he wasn't found for a week. I said, really? And she said, because so many people came out to support the family, and so many people brought good things about Ben forward that probably wouldn't have came forward if we would have found him that night. And so many more people reached out because they wanted to help. And I think what that teaches us, and something we've talked about 100 times on this show, is the little things make a big difference. And she recalled a lot of people that reached out to her. It brought their family closer together. It brought their friends closer together. It brought some things that, as we get older and grow apart, so it's the little things that make a big difference. And I'm cherishing that. I've talked to all of our detectives that work this case and passed that on, because they passed it on to us. And so it's we just got to reach out when there's people in need. We do such a good job when it's something major, but the little things, if somebody's struggling, just with a little problem, reach out to them still. If that didn't teach us anything, and so I'm thankful they told that story to us, and they're happy, and so many people remembered Ben, the good Ben. I mean, Ben had a couple issues. There's a lot of public record out there, and we'll probably get talking about that next, public record. But Ben was a good kid. He made a difference in some people's lives, and that's what they want to remember him for. And so,
well, let's not forget, he is just a kid. I mean, holy cow! You know, stupid things I did when I was a kid. I actually broke into like the school district in Shell Lake because I was just a stupid kid when I was like 16. I don't even recall if we even took anything. It was just to do it. And I look back and go, why would I do that? Like, what was the 16-year-old me thinking at the time? Because I'm a stupid kid. That's why. And not justifying behaviors. I'm just saying that's where you're supposed to do, or not supposed to.
Yeah, that's
right. Kids, if you're watching, don't do stupid things. But,
my kids are at school today now watching our show.
Yeah. Now, if he was like 45, okay, that's different. But, I'm just saying. We've all done dumb things we aren't proud of or we're ashamed of, and moments in our lives that we've made bad decisions. I don't think we should be remembering people by those very few situations, especially a kid.
That was the point that the family made yesterday, and we've gained some family members here at the Sheriff's Department because of it. They want to make some difference in some people's lives, and we're going to be able to do that down the road.
Wow.
We get talking about OWIs, and they have some experience with that, and talking to some young kids that are going down maybe the wrong path, and so we've gained some support at the Sheriff's Department, some people that want to help through this, and so a lot of good has come out of it. That's what Ben would have wanted. As another family member told me yesterday. So let's go make some good out of this, and we plan on doing that. So while the incident itself isn't very positive, the outcome is going to be very positive for Barron County and the family and the friends. And so, just getting our thoughts and prayers are with everyone. To all the searchers that went out, and the weather. The weather was a huge factor in hampering our efforts on some of this. From having planes in the air, we had a lot of people that wanted to fly. They just couldn't fly. Their planes just don't have heaters in them. I didn't know that. And these smaller planes don't have the heaters. When it gets to be below zero, it's freezing up there.
I didn't know that.
And so that was interesting. Going
to
a lot of out of it.
Actually, that positive part. And again, we sometimes, it's not like when we do Positive Tuesdays, it's just, hey, here's a wonderful, great, uplifting story or quote from somebody. It's sometimes dealing with some unfortunate things or some tragedies, but finding positive, and that's just amazing that family member reached out to you, because holy cow, talk about trying to see something positive coming out of this. That person alone, I don't know if I would have thought of that. One of my kids died, and it's like, well, here's something positive. That just blows my mind. And if she can do it, or he can do it, whomever this person was, my goodness, can't we all?
Yeah, exactly. And so, it was so cool to be part of. Sends chills down my back thinking about it today. But it's the little things that we can do to go make a big difference. Yeah. So make a difference today in someone's life and go forward. So, all
right, let me get to this last one here, because we're already up against it already. Was the convicted sex offender Joseph Jonana to be released in Barron County. I think that's actually today, or at least it was when you had issued the release. And I think I even called you because it said like Ridgeland, Wisconsin. I'm like, dude, I don't think this is in Barron. But you said that it was just like on the corner or something, right?
Yep, it's right on First. Obviously, Barron County Square goes 1st through 30th and 30th through 1st. So you can get along around Barron County because we're the only square county in Wisconsin.
Really?
And, not square, like we're actually square. We're 1st through 30th and 30th through 1st, so it's easy to get around. All of our streets are 1st through 30th and 30th through 1st. So there's your geography.
Now. That's awesome.
You can look at a map.
I'm gonna. That's crazy.
So, but he's gonna move. He's moving to Ridgeland. He's on a lifetime GPS. He is GPSed. He can only be out certain times. He's living with a family member. There's no kids there. It's being taken care of by our Department of Corrections. We don't do anything. We just alert people because of the level he is. We can send out alerts like that. It doesn't mean he's wanted. Sure. We put his restrictions on that alert, and it's just to make people aware. There's websites you can go to find sex offenders living in your neighborhood. It doesn't mean they're bad people. Some people make mistakes and they get through it. But some people are classified a little different. He's classified as a high-risk inmate or a person on probation, not an inmate. So he's being released and he's being watched and monitored and GPSed and things like that. So.
All right. Well, that's all stuff I had to get to. I was hoping kind of our main discussion was going to be more about something else, but I do still want to touch on that. I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks, and yesterday was the first time I talked to you since our last show, actually. And I was asking about something, and we just ended up having this short little conversation about comments and on Facebook. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, and some of it came from the horse and buggy, and some of it came from the homicide trial, and some of it came from the Ben Jacobson case. And it's just tough. And you monitor your Facebook, and I monitor our Facebook, and the comments that can get put on there, and people just need to relax a little bit. And, and we can't not, and people said you should take these comment sections off, and you can't. Facebook doesn't allow that anymore. We used to have that option, and we can't. So I want to remind people that if we're putting a post out there, you can't take the comment section off there. But what we do is public record, and people are frustrated with that. Like, why would you tell people so-and-so got arrested? Well, it's public record, and we want to show people, one, that we're doing our job in law enforcement, spending your tax dollars wisely. We're making sure we're out there. I see Mary Tomish put a thing that she wants more cops at M&V. We have a sergeant meeting this afternoon. That's on our list to make sure that we get out and patrol different intersections. So I appreciate those tips. And we didn't get out to do a lot of our proactive events this year, the fairs and festivals, where we talk to people like Mary, and I know Mary, and I know, but I'm not afraid those. My other phone.
That ringtone. That's awesome.
Every time. These people know I do a live show. But we've just got to be careful out there with comments, and it's frustrating. Yeah. And some days, like, I'm just going to not post stuff on Facebook, and then
that's not good, right? Because there are other agencies out there, other sheriff's agencies and municipalities that they don't put a lot of information on. I think even like in Polk County, Brent Walker, I think he just stopped posting like last summer. He's like, I'm just done. I've had it. Like, we're just not going to put anything out anymore. And we don't want to get to that point, right? Because it's not just about, I call or a media outlet calls and gets a quote from me or a statement. I mean, I think that's kind of the changing world, or the difference between a sheriff or leadership in law enforcement today versus 20 years ago. That's a big part of the job now. And to educate and to to inform the citizens of your county or your city of what's going on. But man, people are just kind of, I'm worried that it's going to lead to a situation where you're just no longer going to do it. And I think that is bad for the county. It's my opinion. It's just bad. So hopefully you don't get to that point. Monitoring Facebook it's becoming almost like a part-time job now, though. Right. So we don't have time for this.
Right. And we have to be careful. And we already have some filters. If somebody swears,
right?
And you get all these people that put those little symbols in instead of the swear word. Well, people know what that means, and we have, we have kids that follow us too. So And so, I'm looking at some of our comments, but I'm just making sure we're answering all the questions. But I don't want to get to that either. But what we need people to start to make a difference and take a stand on some of this and not second guess. I'm not saying you can't question law enforcement by any means. I'll take questions. I love to have conversations about it. And if if it's a good question, there can be some good, but it can't be this bashing of this and the bash of that and the victim and the suspect. And, we don't put that out there that we're looking for so-and-so to arrest them, just so you guys can bash him but we want these people arrested. Facebook is a good way to get that information out to people. Use Facebook to our benefit. But our Facebook grew during the Kloss case and hasn't shrunk. I actually thought we'd lose, 5 to 10,000 or 15,000 followers. Yeah. And we haven't. And I don't think people unsubscribe that probably nationwide so we get a lot of nationwide comments on that. We have a policy. We can't remove people from Facebook just because we don't like what they say.
Why?
We have
I do that all the time.
You can, I can't.
Oh.
That's the difference between government and, because people have the First Amendment right to say some things. But if people are going to abuse that and we can't remove their comments because they don't violate one of our policies, then it's either Facebook has to go or we have to live with it. And right now we're living with it, but we just got to make sure that we're smart about it. And, and we've got to teach ourselves to be better people.
Well, hold on a second. I know this isn't really what we're going to go. My last comment on this here. And Adam Lumberg, yes, I see your comments. I'm not putting them on the screen. What was I going to say? Oh, so you can't, First Amendment and all that stuff. That's a conversation for a whole other day. But you had just said that you have the profanity filter likely set to strict, right? Right. Why? Isn't that a First Amendment issue? Why can't they swear? If you can't ban them, well, then let them swear too, right?
It's just that's our policy. We made that a policy that you can't swear. So if that's
why can't you just make a policy if you say X, Y, or Z, then you get banned? So there is a policy,
and our policy is pretty strict, and we've banned some people. I'm not saying we haven't banned anybody. But so we have a policy on our page, on our Facebook page. You can't threaten, demean, blah blah blah. So, and we banned some people for that. And we've tightened up our policy over time. And so there is some banning out there that we do. But
attaboy.
But yeah. But again, it's a good way for me to reach people that don't pick up the phone. And so I do follow it. I do look at it as much as I can, but some days it beats you down, like you said, and you just can't let that happen to you, and you move on. So,
well, that's thanks for giving it away. That's why I called you yesterday. That was seriously, man. It just gets to you after a while. It just does.
Right.
It just does.
You have to reach out to those people, but there's a lot of good on Facebook too. So
you can't bite the hand that feeds you, right? So I mean, it's you kind of have to deal with it. But man, it gets tough. Anything else you want to touch on? Is there anything in here that you? I don't think the question is trying to follow some of them here.
I think Jamie makes a good point. A few people said they only follow Barron County because all the crazy stuff happens here. Well, I don't think it's any crazier than what happens in other places.
You just actually
We talked about that yesterday. I'm like, just because I post about it and the other sheriffs or police chiefs don't post about it, then I take a bunch of heat saying, oh my gosh, we have, not that saying we've had some odd cases, but again, I'm going to continue to do that, but our cases aren't much different than Polk County. That we don't have any more people in jail in Polk County than there are in Barron County. We have the same basic number. We follow that, work with Brent a lot. He's got crazy stuff. It's just, either he doesn't post about it or whatever. And I keep my stance as sheriff the last 13 years as to be open and honest. So, and that's what's worked for Barron County, and that's worked for us, and it's gotten us support. But sometimes it backfires on you and you get all the heat. But so I don't think it's any crazier. Now we've had some major cases, some major tornadoes in the Kloss case and some different things, but I don't think we have much more different crime than other counties.
Right. It's not like they crossed like Washburn County line into Barron County and go, okay, now we're in Barron County. We're going to do what? No,
and that's just it. And that guys, so I don't think you should come here and commit crimes. I mean, that's maybe we put that at the border. Like we can, But So it's
Yeah.
just something to think about, and I'm glad that got brought up. And
Yeah.
Sawyer's pretty crazy too. I agree with that. So it's just how you hear about some of that stuff, and we just have had a great platform, and you build relationships with the media, and I build not only with you but all of our local
Yep.
newspapers. It's about building relationships, and that's my job as sheriff, is to build those relationships. And I think we have a good team here in Barron County, from law enforcement to the citizens to the media, that work together to get it done. So
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it. I don't plan on changing it, but it's good to talk about and just let the people know what's on my mind.
Yeah, and I certainly appreciate it, and I know I've said that many times before, not just for you coming on and doing these shows. You've always been open and transparent, both personally, professionally, and I know that you are that way with everybody else, whether it's media or other sheriffs or community. It doesn't matter. That's a great thing about you that I've noticed over the years that we've known each other. You are the same, whether you're on the record, whether you're off the record, whether you're talking to me, you're talking to you're the exact same. You never change.
The record is always on record. There's no off record.
Well, okay, I disagree, but like this is all off the record, by the way.
Yeah, all of it. This is off the record.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, Fitzy. Right. Any last words?
Let's go make a difference today. Let's do it.
Attaboy. For Barron County as Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. Their goal is to help remove barriers so people can access resources, education, and services to increase financial security. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. I will see you back here tomorrow morning for Politically Speaking with Adam Jarko and Patty Shockner, and on Thursday with former Lieutenant Governor in Wisconsin, Rebecca Clayfish. Fitzy and I will see you back here in 1 week from today. So until then, stay safe, stay positive, and have a blessed day.